whole swinging mechanism in Spider-Man 2 is really what we wanted for Spider-Man 1. Why didn't it even load? I thought, why isn't it loading? How come the character's not showing up? Like, these kinds of questions. If there was time for it and some kind of fun Easter egg could get put in, we would have been all for it. It was going to be Green Goblin, and then the second movie was going to be kind of like a follow-on of the Green Goblin stuff and maybe the introduction of Blizzard, right? So we left it all on the table, man. We tried to put it all in there as best we could.
Another thing that's in the game that was so random was a UFO in the level Razor's Edge. What was the reason for having that in? And I mean, it's possible somebody threw it in and or you don't remember. But yeah, so what was the reason for that being in there, if you recall?
I don't remember.
Don't remember? Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, it's one
I
of
tried
those...
to. Yeah, I mean, I think it came from a place. We had a number of different game designers that worked on this, trying to create fun and interesting levels, keeping fun and trying to figure out, you've got this story that you're having to work around game design wise, and you're wanting it to fill out and feel like as much of a big open city as it can be, even though it really isn't at that stage in our development. And so just trying to fill it out, you just had to have all these try to have side quests, try to have fun little Easter eggs in there for people to find. I think it really just was that, like, having a bit of fun and
there's
not taking it all too seriously. Like, you want to have some fun things in those levels and
Yeah, no, it's like some of the behind the scenes,
something to make you laugh and
it's some of the behind the scenes of development stuff. Like, they've said, the creative directors are the dude in charge. Just send a notebook or Word document to people, and it's just tell us what Easter eggs you put in there. It's we're not going to get bad. We just want a heads up that it exists, because an artist might throw in something.
Yeah, I mean, we hit. I have some other ones that I remember more from Ultimate Spider-Man. Some Easter eggs that we put in there intentionally. We were a fairly tight knit group. I don't. We wouldn't have. If there was time for it and some kind of fun Easter egg could get put in, we would have been all for it. It wasn't like it had to get snuck in past the creative director or anything like that. It was, provided the game is, going to ship on time and capture that feeling of the movie was my biggest thing. And wanting it to be a fun game, knowing that in its core we have the Neversoft's engine underneath us, which is already, proven to be a fun mechanic. And if, you can use that, and if you don't mess it up, it'll be a fun game. So it's just probably game designers fooling around in a moment, trying to have some fun, add some life to a level. But again, I don't. I'm sorry, I don't have I remember the afternoon. It was the funniest thing. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
It really is just an Easter egg.
And then just stemming off the secrets and stuff. The secrets. Well, yeah, the secrets in the game are used to generate a currency. So if you don't use cheats, you get the currency, and then you can buy all the costumes, all the cheats and stuff. So in the first level, the secret is the woman lost her handbag. It's one of the random rooftops you get over to. She's like, "Oh, I've lost my handbag." It's where is it? It's on a different rooftop. It's are you doing a tour of rooftops? Yeah. So it starts off with a side quest type thing, but then the later just become you have to pull a switch. They're optional rooms or things that are slightly out of the way. It's were they originally, because in my opinion, it seems like they were originally meant to be, optional side quests and doing stuff, but it seems like time restrictions, perhaps it's right, we need to cut some of the stuff out. We don't have time. So was that the case?
Yeah, I think there was a moment where we realized if you spend a whole lot of time creating side quests over here in the corners that people aren't really going to see, or a bulk of people aren't going to see, you're not spending that time on a main through of the game and that experience. So I think it was a combination of trying to make sure that you would see some of these side things and kind of force the issue a little bit, But then also, in the beginning with that first handbag, I mean, I think if I recall right, it was really more of just a training thing. So you probably didn't happen upon her. It probably felt like you happened upon her, but it got launched because we triggered something to teach you that mechanic so that you would learn that you could get those other skins, and start to understand the currency and the play of the game to get that other stuff. You got to teach those mechanics to the players so that they get it and want to try to get those other skins, those other costumes and things like that. So, um, it was mostly that, like this combination of trying to make it feel open world, trying to make it feel like Spidey's just out patrolling. So it's not like he's always only fighting supervillains. Like he's a do-gooder and is gonna, be out there patrolling and doing stuff. And what some of those events are going to be like, and just to try to set them up and then interweave that with the big supervillains. It's really just to help fill out the world and make it feel as full as it can. In some of those places, it'll start to show some of the weakness or some of the, oh, you only had 6 months to develop it, working with someone else's engine. Like, some of the cracks may start to show there in some of the side quests and things like that. But it's there for a reason, to show mechanics and then to also give like flush out the world and try to make it feel full. I think we got, as a company, Treyarch got better at that. Later on, as more an open environment, open world became a bigger thing and a more part of what we were doing, it became a more ingrained thing. I think this is us like learning how to do that a little bit. So.
No, even just the 6 month deadline alone is, I mean, I think that's just a mentally fast, and then throw in that you had to go onto a different engine. So everything you knew how to do, it's like takes like 5 times longer. You're like, where does that go? It's like if I went to like,
why didn't it even load? I thought, why isn't it loading? How come I can't? The character's not showing up. Like these kinds of questions. As you're in production trying to make this thing.
With the deadline creeping closer, it's like I could get this done so much quicker.
Exactly.
So were there any, I guess, sticking with regarding the 2002 game, strictly, was there any scrapped ideas, levels, or mechanics that didn't make it into the game?
I mean, not specifically. We already were looking at trying to have the webs not go off the top of the screen, just as like a very like kind of cartoony kind of hand waving of just, it's Spidey. The webs just kind of go off into space. He's swinging. It's attached somewhere, allowing for that forgiveness or whatever. We were attempting to try to get real swinging, but we couldn't get it done inside. Our programmers and stuff couldn't get it done inside the Neversoft engine. It just, the logic wasn't there or whatever. Like it wasn't there. The ability to do it was too hard in the amount of time that we had. But so we did experiment with trying to have that. I think we got it in Spider-Man 2, where you have actual like web points off of the building and better. The whole swinging mechanism in Spider-Man 2 is really what we wanted for Spider-Man 1. We just couldn't, didn't have the time to develop it and put it in there. As far as specific, I'm trying to remember again, forgive me, 23 years ago. I'm trying to remember specific mechanics or things that didn't make it in. I mean, not too much. It just felt kind of like a Herculean effort to like kind of pull that off in that amount of time frame. I don't know. I'm sure things got cut because things get cut all the time, and we would do, concept sketches for things, or, there may have been other Oscorp elements that I'm not remembering right now. If we could, we'd try to pour it into the game. I mean, it's not going to do, if it's crap, then leave it on the side. But if it's good, we want to do our best to kind of get it into the game any way that we could. So then the movie didn't push back as far as like Sony and the licensing. I don't recall too much of like they were pretty on board and pretty happy with what we created. I don't remember a lot of like pushback or things that we had to change. We got Toby and Willem late in the game, as far as like, pardon the pun, as far as getting their recordings done and getting them in. But yeah, it was pretty. I'm sure there were things that I mean, smaller things that I'm forgetting, but there wasn't like these, oh, there was this great level and we just couldn't kind of find like the right hook for it, so it's sitting out there somewhere. There wasn't, you got to play everybody in the game as far as like different skins. So there was, there's, if we could make it work as far as you playing other characters, we would totally try to get that in there as we did. So yeah, I'm sure things were cut, along the way to make it a game and make some decisions to, have it arrive on time, looking as good as it could, but and as fun as it could be to play.
No.
But I'm sorry, I don't have that super secret thing. Like, I've lived with 23 years of guilt because it didn't make it in. We left it all on the table, man. We tried to put it all in there as best we could. And I'm sorry, I don't have like specifics of something that didn't quite make it in.
No, it's cool.
I wish I had a better story. The only thing would be that trident, and I don't actually honestly remember whether it made it into the game or not. I remember at the time it being a huge win for us because we wanted lots of goblin things, that we could have layers of badness or weaponry and different stuff that he could do in different levels. And so having one more thing like the trident would have been really great for us.
And then regarding the licensing of the characters, so you had, what was it, Vulture, Shocker, Scorpion, and then Craven. What was the process to get them in? Because I know that whenever Sony got the licensing to Spider-Man, there were like, because something to do with the licensing between Sony and Marvel, that some villains were either couldn't be used. Like, what was the process getting those characters?
Yeah. So we had, like I said in the beginning, we had a story of kind of the Sinister Six kind of coming into town kind of idea. And so wanting to have like all of the classic Spidey bad guys if we could. I don't recall. I think we were going to have Kingpin, or I think Kingpin was on the list, but Kingpin couldn't be used because of the Daredevil TV show that I think was getting ready to happen, or had happened, or was going to have Kingpin. So yeah, all I remember is that we had these list of characters that we wanted to have, and because I think they were already thinking Venom stuff, I don't think we were allowed to have any Venom stuff at all at that stage. And so, these were classic Spidey bad guys I was asking for, and they weren't on the docket. They weren't on the list for Sony to be as, it was going to be Green Goblin, and then the second movie was going to be kind of like a follow-on of the Green Goblin stuff, and maybe the introduction of Lizard, right? So I think we had some of that limitation on Lizard of what we could show, or but yeah, there wasn't. Yeah, like we were able to have Wolverine in Ultimate Spider-Man, so like we could have an X-Men character in this other Spider-Man game, and it just all had to do with licensing, and we were allowed to. I guess we asked permission. We wanted those characters in our in the game, and that just came from a place of me collecting Spider-Man comic books and kind of going, okay, what's his big list of bad guys? I think we couldn't use Dr. Octopus because of I think that was Spider-Man 2 was already sort of planned, so there might have been something there where we couldn't use Doc Ock. But yeah, I mean, we put that list of characters in. Someone like Craven or the Vulture back then, it was just like, oh, sure, these are just, standard Spidey bad guys, not planned for the movie right now. You can go ahead and use those. And so we did. Yeah, it was just, that part of it was Marvel licensing, and that's how we were able to use it.
If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, support the channel on Ko-fi and Patreon. And if you didn't enjoy the video, like, comment, subscribe, support the channel on Ko-fi and Patreon. Right, good luck.